Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Today we are going to learn about foreign policy of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. We will have a detailed look at what is foreign policy, fundamentals of the foreign policy of Pakistan, aims and objectives of the foreign policy also. My dear students, Ayub Khan has said in his book that there are no friends or foe in the international diplomacy, just the national interest. And a developing country like Pakistan also has this thing in the foreign policy. The general plan of one country concerning its relations with the other country, or you may say that how it is going to deal with other countries. Fundamentals are those things on which a foreign policy is based. Number one is the cooperation with the United Nations. Next is friendly relations with the nations of the world. Number three is non-alignment, very important. Many times we have not been called as non-aligned. We have been in the lobby of America, or we have been in the lobby of China, etc. But the foreign policy says that we should not be aligned. भुट्टो ने एक दफ़ा हमें कर दिया था नॉन अलाइंड, लेकिन बाद में फिर हम डिफरेंट regimes के साथ aligned होते गए. Fraternal relations like brotherly relations, regional cooperation and economic development. My dear students, let's look at the aims and objectives of our foreign policy. Number first aim is the preservation of the national independence. My dear students, the preservation of the national independence means that Muslims have struggled very hard against the British and Hindu hegemony solely because they wanted to live like an independent and free nation, and it is our right that preservation of the national independence should be there, and it should be remained as the paramount principle. On the international forums, Pakistan always supports the right of self-determination for all the nations and freedom from foreign subjection. And in this aspect, Pakistan supports the Kashmir and Palestine issue also. Next is promotion of the international cooperation. Pakistan became the member of the United Nations organization in the very next month after its independence. As a member of the UN, Pakistan always supported the policy of resolving international disputes through negotiations. Pakistan has used the Office of Conciliation among different countries whenever there are some issues. Pakistan has taken birth in a time period 1947 once the world became bipolar, यानी कि अमेरिका और रशिया दोनों ताकतें बन चुके हुए थे. Generally divided into socialist and capitalist blocks. Socialist जो था या जो कम्युनिस्ट ब्लॉक था वो ये रशिया का था, और कैपिटलिस्ट था अमेरिका का. और कंपल्सरी था कि हम किसी भी तरीके से किसी एक ब्लॉक के मेंबर बन जाएं. लेकिन 71 के बाद हम लोगों ने रियलाइज़ किया कि इस अलाइनमेंट से और अलाइन होने से हमें किसी का कोई फ़ायदा हासिल नहीं हुआ, जिसकी वजह से भुट्टो ने रजीम में आते ही, गवर्नमेंट में आते ही सबसे पहले नॉन अलाइनमेंट को सपोर्ट करना शुरू कर दिया. आफ्टरवर्ड्स 1979 में हमने ऑफिशियली नैम को, नॉन अलाइन मूवमेंट को, एज अ रेगुलर मेंबर ज्वाइन कर लिया. नेक्स्ट इज़ रीजनल कोऑपरेशन. My dear students, we live in South Asia, and in this region many smaller countries prevail alongside the border of India, and while living together with such a huge country, the cooperation is very essential. Pakistan has always welcomed good neighborly relations. For this purpose, we first made a organization for regional cooperation for development. It was signed between, or made between, Iran, Turkey and Pakistan. Later it became ECO, Economic Cooperation Organization. It has been expanded to accommodate Central Asian Muslim states as well. Now they are also the members. Pakistan has always maintained ideal friendly relations with China also. and it is a strategic partner of Pakistan. We are trying to improve our relations with the neighboring countries like India, but unfortunately Kashmir issue is the main cause of problem. My dear students, strengthening fraternal or brotherly relations with the Muslim countries of the world forms an essential part of the Pakistan ideology and the foreign policy of Pakistan. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the great protagonist of the unity of the Muslim world. Principles of the state policy in the 1973 constitution also proclaim that the state of Pakistan shall make efforts for the brotherly relations between the Muslim world. OIC, Organization of the Islamic Conference, is one such example. In this aspect, Pakistan held in 1974 the second summit, and in which Pakistan was being given threats not to hold OIC, but Pakistan knew about the brotherly relations between the Muslim states, and that is why Pakistan held that OIC conference and made a lot of major decisions in that conference also. Uh, we plead for the independence of Palestine, Kashmir, Eritrea, Bosnia, Cyprus, and if we cannot take active action in these aspects, we diplomatically support them. Next is the economic development. Basically, Pakistan will be friends with those countries that help us in the economic development of Pakistan. My dear students, next topic is factor determining the foreign policy of Pakistan. Number one is the Pakistan ideology. There should be no foreign policy rule against the Pakistan ideology. The ideological basis is the main pillar of Pakistan foreign policy. The sole objective is to provide South Asian Muslims with a homeland. History bears witness that at times nations are able to achieve through peaceful means what they otherwise could not achieve through war, like conquest of Makkah. The land of Pakistan has become an arena of power struggle between the United States of America and Soviet Union. Fall of the Soviet Empire has brought about far-reaching changes in the world politics, but this change does not affect Pakistan's position as the most important country in the region. The People's Republic of China also is emerging economic power of the world right now. It has become a world power, and Pakistan has got very close friendly relations with them. Pakistan is also offering facilities to the landlocked Central Asian countries. As a part of the global Muslim community, Pakistan occupies a central place in the chain of Muslim countries, stretching from Africa to the Far East. Quaid-e-Azam had attached great importance to Pakistan relations with the Muslim countries. While working for a faithful coordination among the Muslim countries of the world, Pakistan cannot and should not compromise the security and existence. Like हम मुसलमान मुल्कों से दोस्ती करते करते अपनी security और existence पे कोई हर्फ नहीं आने देंगे. This Fatah Makkah is the main policy of instigating or arousing helpless people against their resourceful governments can do them no good. What can be achieved through peace and restraint cannot be achieved through war and emotional frenzy. Like हम लोग जो हैं हमारी foreign policy की एक important फैक्टर है कि हमने जंग और लड़ाई झगड़े को बुनियाद नहीं बनाना, और इसको बुनियाद ना बनाने की जो पीछे एग्जाम्पल है वो हमारी फ़तेह मक्का से है कि फ़तेह मक्का लड़ाई झगड़े से हासिल नहीं किया गया था. इसी तरह हमने भी अगर कश्मीर को हासिल करने का, उनके वहाँ की आवाम को आज़ादी दिलाने का, उनकी आवाम का हक़ राय दही उनको दिलाने का एक ख्वाब सोच रखा है, तो ये हमारी फॉरेन पॉलिसी का एक इम्पॉर्टेंट हिस्सा है. लेकिन हम ये काम जंग या एग्रेसिवनेस के ज़रिए कभी भी नहीं करेंगे. My dear students, India, Pakistan, China and Japan started new phase of their lives as sovereign independent states at almost the same time in the history. in 1940s and 50s. Pakistan and India inherited an excellent infrastructure, especially the railways, irrigation, built by the British during the days of their Raj. The two countries were blessed with the plenty full of natural and human resource. Chinese had fought a tough battle to success, and the Chinese leadership had faced with the mammoth problem of feeding their population. My dear students, mammoth problem is very giant problem, very big problem, which formed 1/3 of the total human population of the globe. Japanese had to fight long and tough battle, and American nuclear attacks had shaken their economy. In spite of all that, these two countries, China and Japan, bewildered the entire world by their activities and achievement in all spheres of life, especially the economic field. Japan has now achieved the status of one of the richest countries of the world. Annual growth rate economy attained and maintained for several years by the People Republic of China is a miracle. The two countries are able to achieve the apparently unachievable targets. After the August 1945 debacle of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japanese King Hirohito was able to convince the nation that wars in future are going to be extremely expensive and devastating, and that is why the education field should be catered, science, technology also. This far-sighted leader told his nation that arena of war was now shifted. Wars in future will be fought for schools, in schools, colleges and universities. Japanese took the advice of their leader and decided to endure their humiliation at the hands of Americans. The Chinese leadership took a similar decision when the People Republic of China was proclaimed in October 1949. My dear students, the case of Pakistan is different from China and Japan. Our neighbor India sowed the seed of enmity from the very beginning, and the main issue is Kashmir. We have been fighting for the rights of the Kashmiri people since the beginning. After colossal lot of wrath and precious human resources, political and military and intellectual leadership of the two countries have now realized that warmongering has paid them nothing, and in future nothing is going to come out of it. And those nations that prefer peace and stability and educational reforms with reference to this type of advancement as compared to war, they become more successful. At the time of start they may seem loser, but while they reach the end point they become a successful nation, and same can be seen with the example of Fateh Makkah. My dear students, at the time of Hudaybiyah Peace Pact, the Kuffar Makkah seemed to be successful and Hazrat Muhammad ﷺ and his followers seemed to be losers. But soon after 1 year, the condition turned upside down and the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ became the successful person, and he conquered Makkah without even dripping one drop of blood. This is an undeniable fact that the nations can change their friends but not their neighbors. हम अपने हमसाये तब्दील नहीं कर सकते. Leaders of Pakistan and India should realize the realities emerging with the change of time, forsake their traditional thinking, and instead of looking back to the past, should adopt a progressive futuristic approach, and both countries should work for the rights of the Kashmiri people. Till the time the Kashmir issue is resolved, the friendship cannot be maintained. My dear students, on this paragraph, your topic is now complete.